the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
For the office of the special prosecutor, Yura Kisi Ejabin and a home cranimini. And then a penny for Atta say na and some of the goo aposuna and say, Ade OSP Kisi Ejabin, on the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dominic Ayini, ever competition be an nasa competition and say Yesha and Che and the Attorney General Dominic Ayini na all trendy our mind Ghana because of a press conference via Oye. And another office of the special prosecutor Kisi Ejabin Suba Bontain and now or day press conference ebeshe so ne OSP mum and a trendy our mind Ghana muhan. Until I come here say Attorney General be trendy say Yakima na OSP so at the press conference so abekata so no so abe trendy because office of the special prosecutor enra obaye no obemayen update on Ofori issue no nemo eno na mpanifo tena ase na omoka say why always update on Ofori? Now even why say only NDC ba bem na enne OSP Kisi Ejabin always all time Ofori na sa time na MVP wo no e die be na otwen e kama ko say obaye no on person be losing the office no because office on several occasions and mpanifo can say omu hu faso die bia e wo sa OSP office no so nanso so enne NDC for baye no office of the special prosecutor or person ya or ye bibi e dey impressing the current government na okoso man office no because enkofo call sa office no omungu no kra ye boy ka ye nyahwe emfiri mu because ye hwe the Attorney General any eye OSP dwumadi omudi ni na e kama kwa so mayo omo se omo ye judge omo ba begirem press conference so na omo kan sem bia de gu nipa ho fi nti before say nipa na kwa kopi mo court kra no na aso mabu na tan wi enso so mo nya judges in fact ene e before akasapa ye ni bre nti ensem omo de gu apon so efa OSP and the Attorney General.
Now, and pay quick one no, on the OSP. And Rami, you see me data. At the follow OSP press conference no over 2 hours. Na OSP press conference. Now, question the BIA bisano and one baby sano pay. Obi can say Ofori e bonia and no be fanen court. But once again, all your press conference na asemo a and na mitirimo na me bisa na nkrofon so e bisa ne say. Sa press conference to what end? Because asem no court na eseko. Ase OSP no any Attorney General e in competition as to who can dominate in trends in the media. So last week about this week na Attorney General trendy into a trendy ama adeni OSP niya nti yese quickly no and no so be press conference no so timi trendy edeko senya sadia sa adansi di and robe kenka kire nyina no yese afutu bia enti se jiska ko yadwuma tianka wo ye wako court wako charge Ofori any nipa kana ho na Ghana for hu se wo ye adwuma because you see when your first time wa be press conference bi say you ye kai mami sisi adapa nsem bae o be mounti podium say ya kan sam egu mami no fi ebua ne fo e wo Ghana for nyina anim and then mami sisi adapa se odi agro na ogigi nanim na onantenante abonten a wahwe yi obi beye ne bone obi betimi aka se sabe on fa cheme kronfo na wawie esika na ekono na odi ade kura abone kuno because OSP egunu hufunu abonten ama na look say oye criminal enti after sane mani nyina awie no afa de obeka kire Ghana for say said the baby Bible mu ohiri bi kan no o say abranti ogina hoyi but onye boni bia o sabe ka kire say hisi adapa onye boni bia wahwe ni nsemu nyina mu wanya bibia entia no but before that no be mount podium abe describe with names etiana hisi adapa na mo a in the eyes of Ghanaians no enkrofo hu ni say oye kronfo meanwhile not even Auditor General's report and enya adverse findings against maame no enti ya ka kire mo say the fact say what for say why investigation you know and just say you know kware enichina Ghana constitution they can say you are not guilty until say you are proven guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction. And two will be one somewhere fako court. But OSP that be a jina bonten e begu ni pan officer in general 2 hours. Kinkan nyina describe it kind of that say or the also the chief planner of the questionable deals. Any patron and one nyina no. To what end? To what end? As a court now and when you do same way and medium. So we will continue to encourage and admonish the OSP any age in say omuye investigation here court they shouldn't come to the media because media no nye courtroom microphones no sisi wono enye courtroom they should go to the courtroom any wetimi edi asem no they shouldn't run to the public na run accused persons ne down moya sa pa na mo si atemwo adwuma no ase kana Ofori Atta wadi sika ono an di me wa mambi if I am pastor says be edi sika ono an asem if I am pastor gift or edi sika na asem na ya bo chema untumi ko adui se ono an ekọ na no okodu court be 7 yes here fra asem 8 ni oni court dan mu ni ya issue bench warrant se enko che no chema untumi na ekọ ne ko obi abeko ne de we are talking about fairness. We are talking about fairness. So when TRT will be fundamental human rights so because and the two may be wrong some 2029 now OSP term of office are bury and it also term of office bury now you are called upon to come and answer for your stewardship. Budget allocation said the man what you use the money for. Now you are asked to account for travels our economy there. Now you treat you say I don't think you will be happy with it. Where you are Fako court. Now court my judgment. That is what the law says. And you know it. As a lawyer with many years of practice, you know it. Only age many years of practice. Much law. Why are you doing this? Adentina mu yesa de we edi good atemu adwuma no fi. Is it that do you have the motive say mo yesa to tie the hands of the judges so that in the court of public opinion no mabuni panel for that and the judge ni bu asem no call the other way next the judge will have a very saying the public coming after him or her. Yes you can do better, so we are expecting you to do better and do the right thing.
These are no criminal law, is a public law, but these are public related offenses as against offenses that may be private, even though all criminal actions are public. What's called in nature. We are talking about people who are being alleged to have plundered state resources, and so because of the nature of the offenses and because of the high interest nature of the cases, having your public discourse ought to be in the right direction. I see there's a very fine line between giving public what's called transparency updates and losing the legitimacy of your actions. There's a very fine line because you run the danger of falling into what I'll call give the dog a bad name and hang it. You understand? Because for about 10 months, the OSP has been giving us public updates on Ken without a charge. You understand? And that's the problem. And so let's say if there was a charge and you are giving us public updates, there wouldn't have been any issue. But for 10 months, you call for what's called a press conference, and Ofori Atta has done this, and Ofori Atta has done that. Meanwhile, there's no charge. Even as we speak, is there a charge? No. Because saying that I'm going to charge is not the same as I've charged you. Yeah. You understand? Even where you've charged the person is still considered to be innocent, proven so. Yes, so I think we must be careful. Yes, I'd rather go the way I does things. But even sometimes he comes and says that this person has done that, and yet no charge has been preferred. What's called
against the person.
What's called against them. So for me, you see, it is critical that as much as we act in a manner that seems to suggest that we are following the abiding principles of probity and accountability, we do not also behave in a manner that will cause our legal and legitimate actions to fall under the illegitimate space where the people stop or cease to have confidence in the ability of people who are meant to be the vanguard of the principles of probity and accountability. Also, the OSP must also bear in, as in when he is acting, bear in mind the purpose for which the OSP was set up in the first place. Some of us have issues with how it was set up, but they have been set up. Now, the purpose of the OSP being set up was to take away the fear that governments prosecuting people is driven by partisan consideration as against the good of the state. You understand? Because all the offenses he's charging what's called Ken by, things that happened what's called sometime 2022, 2022, most of them are documentary in nature. Every year we are granted the auditor's report. You understand? Why did the OSP not have the cojones to bring these actions, these press conferences against Ofori when the MPP was in power? Why is it now? Is it not defeating the purpose for which the OSP was set up in the first place? Is it not creating a situation where people feel that, listen, if your party is in power, then nothing can happen to you? Because the only reason why we set up the OSP was to create a situation where prosecution will not have the partisan coloring. But to have sat down and not have done anything, and I have waited for how many years to bring these actions, for me, it takes a lot away from the purpose for which the OSP was set up. Having said that, it's better late than ever. For me, I have no issue with the OSP and Attorney General saying things that suggest that they believe in the strength of their case. Because before a lawyer takes up a case, or my brother is here, no lawyer will go to court if they do not believe in the strength of their case. Would you go to court if you don't believe you win? You understand? So far as the OSP is concerned, or the Attorney General is concerned, like in the case of the Hanan case, he believes that he has enough evidence to secure a conviction. And he's saying that does not in any way mean that he's prejudging. He's not a judge. He is a prosecutor. And once he takes up a case and he's prosecuting, then he believes that the person is guilty in his head. But at the end of the day, it's a judge that has to make a decision. So if the prosecutor is saying that, listen, I have this case, I believe this person, I have enough evidence to secure a conviction, I don't see the big deal about that. But he is a prosecutor. He's not a judge. It would have been a problem if it were the judge saying that, listen, I've seen enough evidence to convict somebody.
No, but as you even said, you said the OSP 10 months now, he's always been giving briefings on Ofori without a charge. And that's the argument of the lawyer of Ofori and other people that why always come give us an update without a single charge? By that, it looks like you are prosecuting him in a public space and not going to court.
No. So I've jumped onto the Attorney General.
Okay.
I'm done with. I'm done with my view.
You are combining the two.
Yeah, because you see,
no, so that's in the case.
Yeah, and then Hanan's case. The minority came out that, listen, the AG seems to have judged them already, or seems to suggest that they are already guilty. And I'm saying that no lawyer will go to court when he does not believe in the strength. Well, I won't go to court if I don't believe in the strength of your case.
But isn't it also because of the details that were given? For example, listing, because after that, I've seen videos of a building allegedly belonging to Hanan at you call it Airport Hills or so, because of the details that the AG brought. And that's why some lawyers argue that when you don't go to court to prosecute the case and get judgment to then prove the guy, and you come out with all of those details, it makes people view them in a certain way that maybe the court will not agree with you.
No, I disagree with that view completely. One, like my brother said, first of all, apart from marital cases and cases involving minors, all cases are public in nature. Yes, and now we do public accounts committee. We are talking about states where people have to even declare their assets, and we are saying even the manner in which they declare their assets does not benefit anybody. It does not benefit us in upholding the principles of probity and accountability. So if the Attorney General, whose client is the people of Ghana, then he prosecutes and seeks justice in the name of the people of Ghana. Yes, sir. Comes and says, listen, I'm going to charge you. I've charged this guy and he's done the A, B, C, D. He's like, what is wrong with that? In fact, we should commend the AG in line with the principles and values enshrined in our constitution. You understand? For coming out to do what he's doing. My only issue is, like I said, like in the Attorney General OSP case, where for 10 months he's briefing us, meanwhile he's not even preferred a charge. In fact, my biggest issue is the fact that he didn't have the courage to bring these charges against, to do what he was doing against Ofori when the MPP was in power. Defeating the purpose for which the OSP was set up in the first place. You say you are independent, you are supposed to be non-partisan, and you didn't have the courage to bring all these issues up when they were in power. Does it not defeat the purpose for which the OSP was set up in the first place? Okay. So for me, I support what the Attorney General is doing. And when I say I'm not talking about the OSP.
Quickly, Opanibi, yes, Ora Sante Boating. MP Ewa Asante Atim South in the Ashanti region. Na mehuni video bia one minua kwasinsia ewo Adum TV eyeye. Na anopemebo video natural. Mehu video no me sefuni. Se Ora Asante Boating said you see it describe Bawumia. And he said, kafa Bawumia hono. Me say for me. Na echire na da sebre draw me attention say. O wi ni ma Asante Boating. Ono na 2023 NPP primaries no. Of course so can say on tu ni suru enfimu emfa ayi efe ni say anwea emu. Ebisa no si o gidi obo akon say Chema wuntumi no ba ne constituency na o ma ntia ne nsem enu ti na oko support Alan ba boy si sa Samu Asante Boating kan say on tu ni nsuru emfa ezisa certain rules den ensimu no chepefe say oye tribal bigot sa papa no tribalism che say oda no so da say Bawumia ekramuni ti Bawumia na ebedi part na nimu a na ne bofunu. That is the only reason why it's here on Bawumia sem. Because I don't see why anybody in his right senses will say Obia Walidi party nanim the number 2 gentleman of the party for 16 good years. Obakaso ehoho. Because party constitution can say so betimi a contest any position in the party as a member of good standing 2 years. So betimi jina as president as a member of good standing 4 years. And you Asante Boating Obia waba be leader of your party. Why leader of National Council? Why leader our neck? Now I serve as running mate for 4 terms. For 8 years in opposition, 8 years in government, and you still describe such person as an outsider and as a stranger. No, you have a big problem. You have a very big problem. Pacho Asante Atim, Tea Party no signatories. I'm sensa krata abria electoral commission yekwati MPP no. Asante Boating no ka ho ana. 1992. Omudo monsa ehihye party no krata say every constituency no but now wa we MP now ka ho ana very sad na ya say empanifo pan so say honorable asoma chairmanum ene asante boatenum ene yesa na omo provoke emabun say obeka bibi ne yaka say udi pani bi atem but ahomete say party say MPP a prese obe party ni be konanim no betimi adi nkuguo no obenya empanifo asante boatenum no makasa say de mukan no unfortunate and very sad and pe kwasi kwaten atro bibi na godo no mo ba me the post ni beto so na ya kenkan na ya analyze post no ahwe se ne sitie